Hello, and welcome to Dope Girl Conversations. I'm your host, Dr. Tedra White, and today we have with us a special guest, Mr. Bernard Haynes. Bernard is a coach who specializes in training, inspiring, coaching, and consulting individuals and organizations in personal and leadership growth and development. He's learned from leading, studying, and observing other leaders that you don't have to have special credentials, a fancy title, or a created position to lead. You are a leader if you are a parent, a youth lead coach, CEO, janitor, teacher, student, or an employee. Authentic leadership is not about a position or a title. It is a matter of the heart. And along with Bernard being a trainer, coach, consultant, he's also my brother. So Bernard, welcome to Dope Girl Conversation.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So Bernard, what we want to talk about today, we want to chat about today is your book called Vision Impact. And we want to talk about vision, creating vision, and we're in a time of the year where people are thinking about what they're going to do in the new year. We've just had a very crazy last few years in the political sense, and 2020 has been the year that everybody kind of want to forget. I remember last year, people were doing their 2020 visions and everybody was using, oh, I got 2020 vision. I'm going to be able to see all this stuff. And of course, nobody saw this coming with the pandemic and all of the other stuff. So let's take some time and kind of unpack what vision is and some of the things that you wrote in your book. So Bernard, explain to us or kind of define for us what vision is.
I define vision as a clear mental, preferable future of the direction for your life. When that individual realizes his or her vision, then they won't let any obstacle or opposition stop them. And I believe vision launches you out of stagnation into forward action.
Okay, forward action.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a meme the other day that really hit home, and it said, beware of destination addiction. The idea that happiness is in the next place, the next job, or even the next partner, until you give up the idea that happiness is somewhere else, it will never be where you are. And you said with vision, it is that forward thinking though, but what is your advice to the destination chaser in terms of having a vision? You know, some people are chasing, I call it accidental living. They just like, oh, well, I just happen to get this, or I happen to fall over here. And they don't necessarily have or set a vision. So what is your advice to those people who are just kind of haphazardly living life and kind of going in circles and just waiting for the next great thing to happen?
Yeah, and I definitely agree, because the destination thing is people, we get excited about the new trend, the new fad. We want to hop on board. We want to do this and do that because that's the new latest, greatest thing. But what I found out, you talk about happiness, and happiness is usually predicated on something good happening in our life. And I like to tell people, everything's not going to be good. And we found that out in 2020. We have found that out the first 10 months of 2020. But what I believe, even with the vision piece, it goes farther than happiness, is joy. Because joy is understanding who you are, where you're going, and how you plan on getting there, even through the bumps and obstacles and oppositions in life. And that's the reason a vision will take you there when you define the vision, what I believe in the proper context of what a vision is. And the vision does, as I said, it's a preferable future that you see for yourself or your family or your business or your organization or what have you. But it's something that is continuous, not a ultimate destination, but it's a journey that I believe for the rest of your life, as I define vision.
Why is it important for people to write down their vision?
I believe it's important for people to write down their vision so you can have a point of reference, something to give you direction, just like an organization or a ministry. You go into ministries, on the wall, they got the vision statement, purpose statement. You go in organizations, you can pull up on website, they got it written down. And I believe it's real important for us to have written down. In the church sense, ministry, we always quote that scripture, Habakkuk 2, where it talks about write the vision, make it plain, so that others that see it will see it, will run with it. So in order for them to see it, we must what? Write it down.
So what about a vision board? Is that like something that you could say you writing it down, or do you think like vision boards are just a cool new trend that people been doing for the last few years?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's a cool new trend. People do the vision board. But what I've done and what I've seen is, even me and my family, we've taken the vision board and we've done it a little bit differently. And there's nothing wrong with the vision board, but we created, me and my wife, and we created a vision book. And in that vision book, and we have a physical book with our vision, our personal vision statement in it, our family vision statement in it, and our marriage vision statement in it. Also, that book contains 7 to 10 goals that we have written out. 5 to 6 of them are right now goals, or what I call within a year goals. And then we have 2 or 3 that's 3 years out. And then we have at least 2 that's beyond 3 years. And we put that in the vision book. But we also cut out some pictures and things that to give us a picture, some things that we want to do, some places that we want to go, just like a vision board, where we cut the smaller pictures out, put it in this book. And also we created like a presentation or on the computer with those vision statements that we can use as a reminder on our our iPhone, our tablet, our computer, just to keep it in front of us. The vision book has been important because it has our vision statement, our personal vision statements, and as I said, our goal sheets in it.
Okay.
So we kind of took it a little bit farther, that we can go back and review this book and look at where we are in our goal process, and we can go back and look where we need to go and what we need to do.
And you said that was something that you did with your family. So is it important to have an individual vision in addition to your family vision, or are those should be one and the same if you have a family?
I think it needs to be each individual, even with the family, and of course several of them will overlap. It will overlap in your marriage and your family, but also some of the individual goals will be different. Far as like one of mine is to with my reading of particular books and stuff I'm studying, I write those as goals, because that's one thing, part of my vision. That's one thing that I want to do. And also I have as a goal of losing some weight and getting in shape the end of this year and the coming of next year. So that's a personal, but also that coincides with some of the family goals.
Okay. I think that's something on pretty much everybody's list, to lose some weight and to get healthier. What would you say are some of like the biggest barriers for somebody reaching their vision?
Oh, the biggest one is fear.
Okay.
I believe the biggest one is fear.
Fear of failing, or fear of
failing. Like I deal with fear of rejection. Something fear of success.
Okay. Explain that one. Fear of success.
Fear of success is if I accomplish this goal, then what?
Yeah.
How can if I accomplish it now? What else is there to go? What else can I do? Who's going to help support me after I come after I get here? Who's going to line up with me
Yeah.
as I
I,
proceed forward from this goal?
I think too, fear of being found out as a fraud,
Yep.
imposter syndrome. People, I know that's one of the things I have to deal with sometimes. You're like, well, these people gonna find out that
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
And so,
Exactly. Well, I run into that. I ran into that writing this book and writing the material and even coming up with the vision. Okay, now I'm writing this book about vision and the things that go along with a vision. I'm saying, well, I don't have all this stuff together.
right,
I'm teaching this
right.
in classes and teaching it in training, and I don't have all this stuff together.
I know we had conversations where we having
Mhm.
to talk each other off the ledge
Right.
to go ahead and do it. So we know that there are barriers there, and fear probably, as you said, is that biggest one, whether it's failure, rejection, success, fear of being found out, that you feel like you're a fraud. But what would you say are ways that someone can overcome those barriers? How can you overcome them?
One way to overcome them is to link up with truth speakers in your life. People that you can connect with. As you said, me and you talk to each other off the ledge. Me and my wife, we always communicate about the stuff about vision and purpose. And a lot of it's sitting down and just going through the process of doing it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we get you get the hype in church, you get the hype sermon, or you hear the motivational speaker and we get all the hype, but we don't want to put the work forward to make this vision thing happen.
Yeah.
But because it's going to take work. And I know we live in the microwave generation. We want everything quick, fast, in a hurry. We want to
Yep.
write down that one of my goals is to lose, your goal maybe lose a certain amount of weight, but we want to do it I call it the 2-week syndrome. We
Yeah.
want it done in
2
2
weeks,
weeks.
2 days.
Yeah.
I want to do it in 2 meals.
Yeah, I want all this vision to happen. I got a vision paying off this debt. If it don't happen in 2 weeks or this amount of time, then I'm giving up and quitting, walking away.
Yeah.
But we gotta have that. We gotta have that. 2 words I use in my life: focus and consistency.
Yeah. That's funny that you bring that up. I just put out a survey in the group that I have, Dope Girl Conversations, on Facebook, and I asked the ladies what do they feel like is something that's keeping them from living their ideal life, and focus and consistency showed up several times. Focusing on what it is you really want to do and kind of narrowing it down. Some people have lots of ideas and they get easily distracted and go into different things. And then some people know exactly what it is that they want to do and they'll start working on it. But then that consistency, that discipline just to keep doing it, even when you don't feel like it, and keep doing it. And, you starting something and you have a business and nobody shows up, how do I get up and come back and do that the next day, the next week? So that consistency, that is definitely something that people deal with.
Yeah, that's the tough thing, and I battle with that too, because even with the process of writing, because people always ask me how long did it take you to write the books and all this kind of stuff, and I tell them it took various times, because I get started and stop, and I get started and stop, and a lot of times I wasn't consistent. But when I bear down and focus and consistent, did it day in and day out. When I didn't want to do it, I set a block of time. I'm gonna write from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I sat down and wrote and became focused on what I was doing and consistent. I turned off the phone. I
Yeah.
turned off the TV, and I focused on what I needed to do, and I was consistent. And it was tough because you always gonna have opposition and obstacles come up because of certain things that want to block you from moving forward in your vision.
My biggest obstacle, I think, is me. And you remember we would have those conversations where I'm like, perfectionism was a huge issue for me at one point. A few years ago, I would have never done this and started video conversations and a Facebook page, because if there was anything that I thought could have been done, you don't have to be shaking your head in agreement so much now.
Because I'm
But
in the
if there
same
was
boat.
anything I could have done, because to make it better, before I even put it out there, remember, I would always pick at it and we would mess with it. And then next thing you know, a month done gone by and I'm messing with it. And we
Because I had to
messing
say,
with it.
I had to say, Ted, leave it alone.
Yep. Just leave it alone. Just do something, girl. Put it out there. But that was something that I really have to, even now, I have to really, like, how, as you said, focus in on, and I had to stay focused, and I had to learn how to extend myself grace the way that I do for everybody else. And I had to think about that. I'm like, do I expect perfection from other people? Of course I don't. I expect for them to give me their best, but not perfection. And so once I realized I wasn't extending myself that same grace that I was extending to other people, then I kind of let loose and was like, you know what? And I had to learn that what I would consider to be, it's all right, other
Right.
people looked at it as, oh my God, that's just great and fantastic. So I had to learn how to extend myself that grace and give myself that leeway. And like you say, just focus, get it done, get it out there. And I had to remind myself too that, I think about it and I'm like, well, you know what? When they created the first iPhone, that wasn't the first and only. They
Right.
always coming back up, updating it, making it
Right.
better. Sometimes they might make it worse, but then they'll go back and tweak it and make it better. But they always have it in the hands of the people.
Right.
And that's something that I had to learn how to do, was to leave it alone, put it in the hands of the people, and then you can make your tweaks.
And what I like to use, especially with vision, I always, when I teach classes and facilitate classes, I say your vision, and I'm changing it even from saying a vision statement, because a lot of times the vision statement, these little cute 2 or 3 sentences, and they all cute and have the splashy words, and which really don't mean anything.
Right.
And I always tell people about the vision statement is a part of who you are and your direction of where you want to go.
Yeah.
And it puts you in focus and gives you more of a point of direction to head towards.
Right.
That's what I find out with a lot of people, like you said earlier, we so out there trying to multitask and do all these different kind of things. And I get caught up doing the same thing, trying to write. One time I was trying to write two different books at the same time, trying to post on my website and do all that kind of stuff, to where I ultimately got burned out.
Yeah.
And I end up doing nothing, getting
Yep.
nothing completed, because I get started and my mind going on all these different things.
And you get overwhelmed.
Yeah. And then that's where I go back to my vision. Like I said, I'm moving from a vision statement and call it a vision declaration.
Okay.
This is what I'm declaring, just like they declared the Declaration of Independence, but I call it a vision declaration now. And that's what I call the statement that we wrote. I wrote personally, and then we wrote as a family. And I forgot in the beginning, but with the vision, there are 5 elements, I believe, to a powerful vision.
Okay. What are those 5?
Number one, knowing your purpose. And your purpose is really who God created you to be. And your purpose is not your job, it's not your career, it's not your business, it's not what you do, but it's who you are. And I believe your purpose is who you are, no matter what position you have on a job, what company you work for, what you do, or where you are. Your purpose is who you are. And the second part of that is define your values. What is your value system? What are your 7 to 9 values? Prioritize them, and when you prioritize them, nobody can talk you out of your values. This is what I stand. This is what I believe, and this is what I stand on. So define your values. You got to see your future is number 3. And see your future is where you start setting up what I believe vision statements or vision declarations in the 7 areas of life. And I believe those 7 areas are spiritual, your physical life, that means your physical health, all the things dealing with that, your mental life, what are you putting in your mind? What are you listening to? Who you allowing to speak into your life? What are you reading? What are you looking at? How are you building your mental life?
Yeah.
Your social life, who you hanging out with, who you connecting with, and those social events in your life, your relational life, your relationships, whether you're married, single, friends, your relational life, your professional life, and then your financial life. Number 4 is setting your goals. So now you know your purpose. You have defined your values. You see your future in these 7 areas. Now you set your goals from those areas, and your goals should line up with your purpose. From what I found out, a lot of people setting goals and they have struggle with them because they don't accomplish them in 2 days or 2 weeks, or they get frustrated and stop.
Right.
Is because it's not connected to who they are, or it's not connected to their value system.
Okay. Should they set goals for each of the 7 areas?
I set goals for each of the 7 areas as much as possible, because some of them, you know, everything kind of interact with one another or overlap sometimes. But I set a goal. We set a goal. Matter of fact, we're getting ready to set our goals. We always set them right around Thanksgiving time or the 1st of December. So we'll set, and we kind of got an outline, but I think we have 7 goals that are going to expire at the end of next year. And then we got 3 goals within 3 years and 2 goals after 3 years, between really 3 to 10 years.
So they can be longer term goals, shorter goals, whatever it is, just make the goal. have a goal there.
So and that's number 4, set your goals. And the 5th one is work your plan.
Yeah.
I believe we can do all the other 4, set the beautiful vision declaration. We can have the pretty goal, because I created a goal sheet that I've used in middle school all the way up to facilitating for adults. They use the goal sheets, and I always tell them, you can have the pretty goal sheets and everything on the goal sheet, but if you don't work your plan,
it means nothing.
And while you're working it, follow up, then you might determine this goal ain't for me.
Yeah.
And that's when I call the plan, the whole vision plan and all the things, I call it a dynamic plan.
Yeah, because it could change.
It could change.
You can move it around.
Yeah, and I got that term from, I used to sell climbing ropes, and we had 2 different ropes that we manufactured called static and dynamic. The static ropes didn't have any stretch, any flexibility. And sometimes we get like that when we set a goal. We get I got to have it done by this. If you set a goal to pay at the end of the year to pay $15,000 off of debt, but by the end of the year you don't pay but $10,000 off, and people have a fit. I didn't make my goal. You didn't reach the $15,000 goal, but look at it, I did pay off $10,000. So you go back and just reset it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just give up and say, I didn't do this goal. Now you go back and reset it. And then now we're going to go after the 5,000, whatever's left, we're going to go after it now.
That's important, because I always hear people, they come to me and they say, 40-ish, 50-ish, whatever the age may be, and I want it to be ABC so bad. And I was thinking about maybe going back to school, but you know, Tedra, that's going to be 4 more years, 6 years. And I always tell them, you're going to be 4 or 6 years older anyway.
Right.
You may as well be 4 years older or 6 years older, haven't reached your goal or your dream. You know, because I would hate for 4 years to pass and you look back and say, dog, I wish I had started 4 years ago. I would be finished now. And again, that goes back to that procrastination,
right?
Trying to figure out excuses. I say it's just a procrastination is just accepting your excuses and allowing yourself not to do it.
I wrote an article, and actually a chapter in another book I wrote called Assassination of Procrastination.
We need to assassinate it because if we really sit down and think about the things that we do not do, not because we can't do it, not because we don't have the access or the opportunity, the skills, and now it's simply because we just don't do it. We procrastinate, and then we miss out on the success that we could have had
Right.
because of us, just allowing our excuses to take over. I have one more question for you. Did you want to add anything else to your 5 things you were giving us there before we kind of start chatting about something else?
Yeah, I want to add, and you just said something, and I just want to say this. A lot of times we talk ourselves, 2 things. We talk ourselves out of our vision or the goals that we set, or we let someone else tell us what we can't do.
Yeah.
And we allow them, you can't, girl, you can't set that goal. That's crazy. That's outside of your experience or your education. And we, to the old term, we lock somebody in a box.
Yep.
But what we do is we let them hold the key to the box.
Boy, you better say something.
And we can't think out. We can't not just think outside of the box. We can't operate in the box to get outside the box because we allow them to just totally lock us in.
Lock us in. And we accept that. We receive it.
We accept
That's the thing. We receive it.
We do. And I've been there myself. We do. We accept it. We accept the limiting beliefs of ourselves.
Yeah, we do.
We got so much. I wrote a book, and I don't know if you have a copy of this one called "It's in You to Win."
I think I do have that one on my shelf.
And I believe we have everything inside of us. God placed within us everything inside of us to live the vision that He has ascribed to our lives.
Yeah.
And I believe we have everything inside of us, but what we have to do is tap into what's inside of us and live to win.
Yep. I was gonna say, and I think a lot of people, when a barrier comes up, they get tripped up over that barrier, and what somebody said to them comes back to mind. You know what they said? I couldn't do this.
Right.
Dang, who am I to think that I can accomplish this? Look, I already messed up.
As we talking about this thing about vision and purpose, and I'm seeing even in this year, well, all the different, because we got more than one pandemic going on.
Yeah.
We got several different pandemics going on. And I'm seeing, and people, and I know a lot of people are afraid and scared that, and we talking about this vision and the vision book and the purpose statements and vision declaration and all this, and people saying, you crazy, we got all these things going on. And a friend of mine, as I graduated college, he's a minister now, that really opened my eyes to the possibilities of it's still unlimited, even in the midst of everything that's going on. He posted last week or whatever, they ministry just bought 54 prime acres of land.
Oh, wow.
Debt free. And he said, we paid debt free in a pandemic. I said, even in the midst of a pandemic. So that let me know when we come up with our goals and our vision in 2020 to finish this year, because we don't know what 2021 gonna bring.
Exactly.
We can say, just like people saying, this is gonna be the year of vision, this is gonna be the year of that. We didn't know all this.
2021.
We didn't know that all this was gonna occur.
Might be a woo. But I think that goes to show, though, like you were saying, staying focused, because things are gonna be, thrown at you all the time. You're gonna trip up over things. Sometimes you're gonna fall flat on your face. But it's about staying focused, getting up, being persistent, and starting back. Now, you were talking about your number 5 thing that you said was you have to work the plan.
Right.
Now, I want to ask you this, because many times people find themselves on what we call the hamster wheel of life. They are just like that hamster. They moving, they using a lot of energy, but they're not going anywhere. And they feel like, but I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm working hard. I'm doing this. I can see this. But what they are is they're busy, but they're not being productive.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So what can someone do to be more productive than just being busy and move closer to that envisioned life that they have?
Um, First of all, when you said that, because I had a friend of mine years ago, he was busy doing all this stuff, and me and him kept it real. He just sat down one day with me and said, "Bernard, what's going on? What's going on with me?" I said, "Man, you busy doing a whole lot of nothing."
Mm,
And
yeah,
I do the same thing. We all do the same thing. Like I said, we get caught up on trends and things that's happening. We look on Facebook and we see somebody that do these posts, and they post in what looks great but
yeah.
not telling the truth. And we get caught up on this and trying to move all in and doing all these things. And we get caught up on, like you said, the hamster wheel. I call it a treadmill. You getting on a treadmill, you running hard, you sweating, you exhausted, but you hadn't gone anywhere.
Still in the
And,
same place.
and we do the same thing. And I think, and that's the reason it's important to, you said earlier, why write the vision? I believe that's the reason it's important to write that vision declaration. That gets us on point, and that's the reason we need to post it. And when you're talking about posting, we did for our family vision statement, and you've seen it when you came to our house. We
Frame.
posted, we framed it, and we posted it and put it in our living room. This is our vision statement. So, and I asked God, why post it? He said, because I want you to know, I want others to know, and I want the enemy to know that there's a vision for this house. I want you to know, because you're gonna act the fool, you're gonna get off course, you're gonna try to do 45 different things that you don't supposed to, because what we do is we start doing things that's not, what's the word I want, that's not attached to us.
Yeah.
We'd start doing stuff outside of us. Like, let me give you for an example. I'm not a mechanic, and you know that.
No, you're not.
I'm not a mechanic. So you don't want me coming to your house
Yeah.
doing no work on your cars. You don't want me doing no electrical work. I can come and inspire you about vision. I can do that. You don't want me to do any of those things because that's outside of my scope. But what a lot of people do, and Dad used to say it all the time, I'm the jack of all trades.
Yep.
And the master of none.
Uh-huh.
And I believe a vision will simplify your life, and you attach those goals to your life. It'll simplify and it'll put you in progress towards what you're going. Then you start getting off some of those hamster wheels, treadmills, and you start saying, "Hold, I don't need to do all this up." Because what it is we're trying to do all this other stuff.
Yeah. And I always say, people start to try to follow the shiny new object, something that caught my attention. Well, now everybody's doing this, so I need to be over there doing that. Okay, that's saturated now. Everybody's doing that, so let me go over here and try to do this. And they get overwhelmed. They wear themselves out, and then they end up, as you said before, doing nothing. And they don't have their vision written down as a reminder, because I look at it as a reminder to stay on track. It's like, okay, and I have to question myself, that is real good. I feel like I have gifts for that and I can do that easily, but that's time consuming. And that's not taking me closer to where it is that I want to see myself in the next year or 2-3 years, and see the family at. And so the best word, I think, in the English language is the word no. And I have no problem saying no, as you know.
Yep.
I don't have a problem telling anybody, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. And so, but a lot of people can't. They feel like if they tell someone no, that they can't, expend all of their energy towards somebody else's stuff.
Right.
That for whatever reason, they feel like they're letting that other person down. And I try to tell people, I want you to think about this. You have a goal. They have a goal. And if they find out that they can always get you to come over and help them with this and help them do that and help them pay for this, when you look up, they have reached their goal and you haven't even started on yours.
Right.
And so, that's one of the things too, is the following the shiny new objects, following the things, as you say, other people kind of lead people to do, and you end up doing nothing.
And I call it the gift of, and I tell friends like that, man, you got to have the gift of no.
The gift of no.
I know you want to
Mhm.
help, but I just can't do it. It's going to take, and I use it, it's going to take me away from where I want. It's going to take me away from my vision.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, as you said, we
Yeah.
need to keep it in front of us consistently, because it is a reminder
It is.
of where we going. This thing, now, this business idea sounds great. It sounds like it'll be good, but no,
Right.
it's going to take me off my it's going to take me off my destination where I'm going.
And not even tell people that, like, if you feel that it is hurting you to your in your spirit to say no to someone, at least tell them not right now.
Right.
And you stay focused on what it is that God, that vision that God has given you, so that you can see yourself manifesting that, and everything that you do go, your energy is spent toward that versus, again, doing what somebody else wants you to do. Anything else you would like to add about vision? Any advice you want to leave us with?
Best advice I can is to sit down and start working through those 5 elements of a vision. Know your purpose, define your values, see your future, set your goals, and start working your plan.
Working your plan.
So that's the key. Is working your plan. And I'm not promising, even if you buy my book, workbook, that it's going to happen overnight. I'm not promising it's not an abracadabra formula. It's nothing that you're going to read and all of a sudden set your goals in December, and by the end of January everything's going to come into focus. Because to be honest, you're going to hit some rough waters.
Yeah.
You're going to hit some obstacles, some opposition going to come. Not just people going to tell you. You're going to look in the mirror and tell yourself that you can't do it. Yeah. That you can't make it. Even when you write the vision down, you might be writing down something. This is stupid.
This is crazy. Ain't no way I can do that.
This don't make sense. I don't have the education. I don't have the experience. I don't have the connections. I don't have any of that stuff. But I feel inside of me something percolating saying this can happen. Yeah. This can happen. I don't know how everything. That's one thing. One thing is sweet about vision is when you start really pursuing it, stuff starts showing up. Opportunities start showing up. People that you thought that you would never connect with, you start connecting with.
Making those connections.
People that you didn't even know, and you've been around them, but you didn't even know that they had this connection to help you move and progress towards your vision. But that's what happened when you start working your plan. Not saying it's going to happen in 2 weeks. It may happen, but it may be 2 years. I remember it was several years ago. I was doing a class on goals matters for incoming 8th graders. It was a bunch. It was. I did 200 8th graders, but the class was like 45 or 50 at a time. So I had like 4 different classes, and I was sharing. I did my goals matter plan. We did the worksheet, and this one child in particular stood out, and a bunch of kids worked on their goal sheets, but he looked at me and we were working on his goal sheet. He wanted to lose some weight, and he was working through the goal sheet, writing down what accomplishing this goal, what it would do, and what would be some of the barriers, and then what the big goal, and then he broke it down to smaller goals. Then when we finished, the last thing we did, words of affirmation. When he finished, he looked at me with a smile on his face. He said, "I needed this because now I see it's possible."
Wow.
And tears like to come to my eyes, but he looked at me and said, "Mr. Haynes, I see that this is possible." He said, "Now I see it written down." And that's what I told him. I said, "See what the power of writing it down do?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Now I see that this is possible. I can make this happen." And that young boy left out of there, and it might have not did anything else for the other 199. But I know that one, it did for him. He left out of that class. He had his folder. He put his thing in his folder. I said, "You don't have to let anybody else know, anybody else see. You may want your parents for them to help hold you accountable, but man, you on your way." Never seen the kid. I hope he did. But that day when I saw him leave, I said, he gonna work this plan.
So the written vision makes it possible.
Mhm.
All right. I appreciate you, big brother, for stopping by and blessing us with your knowledge and with your book, Vision Impact. Tell us, where can we find Vision Impact to purchase it?
Vision Impact is on Amazon.
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com. The book, you can get the hard copy book, and you can also get the Kindle version. And
Okay.
also I have a workbook that goes along with it, but the workbook is just for, you can purchase a hard copy from Amazon. So it's the book, and the book contains 42 messages to help you realize, implement, and live out your vision. So it gives you 42, and the reason it's 42 is because I believe within 6 weeks that you can implement your vision and take and take it off to not another level, but to a new dimension. In each one of those chapters, you read one a day, and 5 to 7 minutes of reading. It's inspirational, motivational, and gives you some practical steps to take.
Awesome.
And then the
Awesome.
workbook, you get the workbook, and then you complete the workbook, and you have what I told you earlier. You have a written vision statement. Excuse me, I'm trying to change the terminology to a vision declaration. If you finish the workbook, but you have to work through it and answer the introspective question that you have to answer about yourself. Nobody gonna come back and check your work.
Growth. That's one of the hardest things people have to do is do that look within themselves and be honest. But that's where the growth happens.
One more thing. Also, let me give them my website. I usually post once a week, just inspirational post, and then they can find out more information about some of the other things I'm doing. It's at leadtoimpact.com. That's leadtoimpact.com.
All right, leadtoimpact.com. And you can purchase your books through Amazon.com. But look, I appreciate you. I'm sure everybody who's listening and watching this video appreciates what you have said about vision as well. And with that, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right.